a lot of information all morning and part of the afternoon, right? I mean, I have just so enjoyed listening to all of the other speakers. And if you take all of this collectively, could somebody just write down on a piece of paper what these answers are? We were going to do it up here, but I don't think we got that pulled off. So just you guys could write that down. What I'm about to do, just make some notes for me. That'd be great. So, now, a lot of information. If you take all of the information that you've heard since you walked in the door this morning, let's just do a little bit of reflecting on that before we figure out what we're going to do with it. Because what would be a good retreat without taking all of this information? We don't want to just walk out the door and leave it in our heads, right? So what we want to do is figure out what to do with that information. So let me ask you a question. We heard some great reflections from the podium. Let's hear your reflections. I'd love for each of you to respond to this question, but you don't have to. But I want to know, and I want to know in just a few words, like 3 to 7 words. I don't want a paragraph or a sentence. I mean, I don't want a paragraph or a dissertation. I just want a sentence. What stood out for you this morning? What were some of the things that really stood out for you? Just recalling what stood out. What are things that you remember the most about what you've heard from all 4 speakers? Just call it out.
Well-meaning intentions tend to zap the school system of its energy and ability to deliver, and they can be redirected and should be.
Well-meaning intentions seem to could zap the school district, yes. Okay, great. What else? Another reflection. What stood out for you? Yes.
We're all in this boat together.
We're all in this boat together. Excellent. Who else? Yeah.
It takes the entire community to raise a single child.
It takes the entire community to raise a single child. Very good.
Developing independent students that are able to identify and solve problems on their own, not really smart kids that bump into furniture and say, excuse me.
Very good. I don't know if I can repeat all that, but developing independent kids that can identify and solve problems on their own, yes. Good. Excellent. Yes?
Our job is to make sure that no child ends up in the ditch.
Our job is to make sure no child ends up in the ditch. Excellent.
Raising awareness.
Raising awareness, is that what I heard? Okay, raising awareness. That's a good point. Up here.
We need to figure out where we want to go, and then we all need to work together to get there.
We need to figure out where we want to go, and we all need to work together to get there. Perfect.
Understanding realities in the workplace so that we can prepare our students for that.
Understanding realities in the workplace so we can prepare our students. Yes?
We need to align our resources better in order to get the maximum benefit, and that may involve just some shifting or some repurposing or, greater connectivity between the things that people want to offer or do or give and where the needs actually are.
I'm not sure I can repeat the whole thing, but we need to realign our resources. Right. Sorry. Think like an entrepreneur.
Collective impact.
Collective impact. Any others?
Provide a pathway of hope.
Provide a pathway of hope. Great.
Get out of our boxes or silos and see the big picture.
Get out of the boxes or silos and see the big picture. Well, let me ask you another question. Of all of those things that you heard, you told me what stood out for you. Tell me what about the things that you heard excites you, inspires you, and excites you.
If we can pull this off like you all did, the alignment, the excitement, to me, is that our students are not only going to be educated and where they need to be, starting with, Ms. Leroy said, from pre-K, but that we are going to change the lives of the legacy of students for generations.
And that's exciting and inspirational. What else? excites you?
It's doable.
It's doable, right?
The fact that we're all coming together.
The fact that you can be together to do it, right? Other comments? All right.
I was going to say, the impact on tomorrow.
The impact on tomorrow, yeah, that excites you, the positive. Yep. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Is there anything that bothers you about what you heard? Concerns you? Throws up a red flag for you?
Just we're different than Nashville.
Different from Nashville, yeah. You're your own community, right? Exactly.
We've got to design our own alignment model.
Right. What else? Other red flags, other concerns?
That when I talk about this, a lot of my friends and colleagues think nothing about it.
Awareness, a lot of people don't know or understand it, yeah, right. And somebody up here said community and parent awareness is a concern, a red flag, right. Other concerns? Yeah. Time. Time's that's a very big concern. Yes.
The coordination that's required, get everyone moving in the same direction,
The coordination that's required.
and the fact that everyone has so many competing priorities in their life,
Right,
to be able to focus on this.
right. It does take focus. Other concerns? Yes, ma'am.
Political environment that we work in does not allow the opportunity for education reforms to really gel. They're expected to happen overnight, and a lot of times these things take years to kind of work. And if the school grade or the district grade does not turn around immediately, there's a lot of implications for the employees and the personnel that unfortunately is very jolting to the community, and it's not allowed to just kind of simmer and move forward in a positive direction.
That is so true. I've seen that everywhere. Very major point. Other concerns?
Take ownership, who's going to own it?
Oh,
Who
that's
takes it from here?
right. Who takes it from here? Who owns
The
this?
school board, is it the business community, is it the chambers, is it that? Who takes it from you?
That is a big concern and something that has to be resolved for sure. Y'all keep giving me concerns if you have any. I'm just going to try to pull something else up here.
There's no magic bullet. And from an education perspective, we've been hearing focus it on specific career skill sets and needs and so forth. Now we're hearing, oh, wait a minute, don't forget that they also need to know everything else in the world. So it's a big task, and there's no one single solution that's going to take care of what we want those immediate outcomes to be.
Right, so there's no one single solution. Got to remember that. Other concerns?
I don't think it has to be a barrier, but clearly Nashville had a major donor to help facilitate the initiative, and I think you have to have a paid somebody to make this work effectively.
Right. And I need to address that. You know, this is happening in different ways in different communities. In one community, it's being led by an economic development agency. In one community, it's being led by a foundation. In one, it's being led by the school district. In one, it's being led by United Way. So there are multiple scenarios about how it can happen. So just, yeah, that's a very good point. Other concerns? All right. I just wanted us to take a minute as a group to reflect, and it's been a long day so far, but now you get the chance to figure out what you do want to do in Polk County, what you want your solution to look like. And, you know, you've got, as best I can tell, you have your end game here. And I don't know, these may end up getting revised at some point. I don't know that either, but I just pull them, and they're just for purposes of example today. That doesn't mean you're stuck with them. I mean, I don't know if this is what your district, your superintendent, and your community develop together. I don't know how you might want to tweak those, or these may be the long-term goals, but at least it's a set that you have that we can use as an example today. These are the outcomes that I think were distributed on the materials for today's session, that you want to produce a globally competitive workforce, you want to improve the school grades, you want to exceed the state graduation rates, and improve economic impact and reduce unemployment rates. So if that's your end game, and I'm guessing that even if that's not what you finally end up with, it's going to be something close to that. So whatever it is, you may want to go through another exercise to define that. But if that is your end game, how are you as a community, because you all have already said it, you know, this has to be what you design for your community. What is it going to look like? Let me see if I hope I did. Here's the question. What does it look like here? What does it look like in Polk? You heard what it looks like in Nashville. You heard what your issues are here in Polk County. You've heard some of the resources. You've heard from employers. You've heard what they're trying to do in the economic development environment here. So given all of these things, this is a question for you as a community at this juncture. What do you want it to look like? I've heard you say just now in the reflection, you know, we need to work together. We need to figure this out. We need a solution that's ours. I heard all of those things just now. So we're going to have the opportunity to try to draft something that will lead you into the next step. That's where we're headed. This question right here, what are the characteristics of a sustaining structure, whatever that looks like, that you would like to see in 3 to 5 years in Polk County? Now, I'm giving that to you now because we're about to go into 2 different rooms one room. We're going to go into one room? Okay. Well, all right then. We're going to go into the next room, and we're going to work together to come up with a consensus so that everybody in this room, we hope, will come up with what this is going to look like. We're going to agree on what the characteristics of this structure looks like for Polk County, for your unique situation. So I was going to count everybody off in twos because we're going to divide into two, but I think that the size of the group is a good enough size that we can do it in one group. So if you all would, I guess take your things, and we're going to be over there till 2:30, 2:40. So you may want your water, your purses, things like that. We're going to just go follow these folks around to the next room, and I'll be right there. Thank you.
The 2013 Polk Academy's Advisory Board Retreat One Polk concluded with a collaborative work session led by Sydney Rogers of Alignment Nashville and Tom Besaw, Jill White, and Jennifer Edge with Ford Next Generation Learning. Together, Polk chamber leaders, business community members, school board leaders, and legislative aides organized the characteristics of a sustaining structure they'd like to see in Polk County within the next 3 to 5 years. Their collective vision outlined ways to provide rigorous and engaging instruction for student achievement, ensuring college and career readiness for all, while creating an economic return on education investment and generating collaborative and sustainable community participation to establish a sustainable and effective organization that aligns resources and leadership.